Good morning, students. Today we will start our next economic book, that is the Indian Economic. Indian Economic Development is the another book of your syllabus. First is the macroeconomics. We already started that book, and today we will start Indian Economic and Development. This is the another book, or 50% syllabus. It means the 40 marks considered in these books as exams. Now, what is the need of this book? So basically, what is the objective of this book? So objective of this book is we know, or students know, about the development experience and the economic reforms since 1991. It means the before the independent and after the independent. What is the our economic condition, and what is the reforms, or what is the steps taken by the government. And another topic is in this book is the current challenges facing by the Indian economy, just like a poverty, human capital formation, rural development, employment, infrastructure, environmental and sustainable development. So these are the topic is a part of this book, and that is the main objective of the framework of the book is the students are aware for the economic reforms since 1991, and government should take on the what the government should take the that is the actions for the improvement of development of the our economy. So let's we start the first chapter, that is the Indian economy on the eve of independence. So Indian economic eve of independence, it means basically before the independence, at the time of the British rule, what is the condition of Indian economy. Fine. So main objective of this book is Indian economic development is to familiarize you with the basic features of the Indian economy and its process of development. In order to understand the various phases of development, it is important to first look at the state of India's economy prior to the country's independence and form an idea of the various considerations that shaped India's post independence development strategy. So when we are talking about the eve of independence, it means that we are talking about the British rule. So when the origin of the British rule. So the British rule over India changed the course of history in India. The foundation of British Empire in India was laid by the Battle of Plassey, fought in 1757, and we got the independence in 1947. So we can uh, approx 200 years, that is the colonial period. Fine. So that is the colonial period, approx 200 years. So what are the basic purpose of British rule, why they are coming in India? So basically the main purpose of British rule in India was to use Indian economy as feeder economy for the development of British economy. British colonial rule tempered the Indian economy very badly. They exploited India's natural as well as human resources for the glory of their own country. Finally, after 200 years of British rule, India gained the independence from them on 15th August 1947. But when we are talking about the Indian economy, so there are many low level of economic development under the colonial period, or we can say Indian economic before the establishment of British rule. Before the establishment of British rule, agriculture was the main economic activities of the people. Handicrafts industries like cotton, textile, silk textile, metal and precious stones work were developed. Indian handicrafts goods were world famous as they were very good quality. But whenever the British rule or colonial period started, all fall down. There are agriculture was main economic activity. It means almost 75 to 85, nearby 85% people of the country's population lived mostly in village, and their livelihood based on the agriculture only. Handicraft industry like cotton, textile, silk, textile, metal, and the precious stone were developed. So main purpose of the British rule in India, that is the we are talking about that the purely the trading purpose. But what they should do, supply the raw material to the British industries. So that is the Indian condition, and they are Britishers provide the market for the British goods. The British government did not estimate the India's GDP and per capita income. And as we know, all of we are the economic students, GDP is the picture of the any developed every economic or every developed economy. Fine, when we are talking about this is a developing country, this is a underdeveloped country, it is a developed country. So we are talking about the depend on the GDP or per capita of the income in this country. But the British government did not estimate the India's GDP or per capita income of GDP. However, no sincere attempt was made by the British government to estimate the India's national and per capita income. Some individuals like Dadabhai Naoroji, V.K.R.V. Rao, R.C. Desai, they made the efforts to calculate the India's GDP. However, estimated of Dr. Rao on national and the per capita income were considered very significant. Most of the studies relate the country's growth of aggregate real output during the first half of the 20th century was less than 2% and only 0.5% growth in per capita output per year. That is very less proportion. But some silent features of India's agriculture sector during the colonial period also, because 85%, nearby 85% peoples are engaged in this type of activities. So India's economics under the British colonial rule was overwhelming rural and the agriculture in character. Nearly 85% of the country's population lived mostly in the villages and derived livelihood directly or indirectly from agriculture. Even this even with this large proportion of the population engaged in agriculture, the country was not self-sufficient in food and raw material for industry. There are many reasons for that type of industry. Main reason for the stagnation in the agriculture sector. So agriculture productivity was very low. Substance agriculture was practiced in India. Method of the production is where primitive. Land settlement system. The other things is land settlement system, that is called in agriculture sector the stagnations of the agriculture sector, the main reason of land settlement system. The most important reason for the stagnation in agriculture sector was the introduction of jamindari system. So what is jamindari system? So under this system, profits occurring out of the agriculture sector went to the jamindars in the form of the lagan. Lagan is called one type of tax. The main interest of the jamindars was only to collect lagan regardless of the economic condition of the cultivator. The dates for depositing specified sum of lagan to British government were also fixed, failing which the jamindars were to lose their rights. The jamindars and the colonial government did nothing to improve the condition to agriculture. So that is the main reason for the stagnations of agriculture sector. That is the land settlement system, and in this land settlement system the main reason is the introduction of zamindari system. Now, second main reason for the stagnation in the agriculture sector, that is the commercialization of farming. Commercialization of agriculture means the production of crops for sale in the market rather than for self consumption. During the British rule, farmers were giving higher price for producing cash crops like cotton or jute. However, this did not improve the economic condition of farmers because instead of the producing food crops, they were producing cash crops which were to be ultimately used by the British industry only. Thus, the British rule promote the shifting of crops from food crops to cash crops. So that is the another reason for the stagnation of the agriculture sector. There are two another functions or another reason for stagnation of the agriculture sector is low level of productivity. So, low level of technology, lack of irrigation facility, and negligible use of the fertilizer resulted in the low level of productivity. And scarcity of investment, that is the another factor of main reason of the stagnation of the agriculture sector is the scarcity of investment. In this way, India's agriculture was facing the scarcity of investment in tracing, flood control and drainage. Although some farmers changed their cropping pattern from food crops to commercial crops also. A large section of the tenants, small farmers and the sharecroppers, neither had the resources and technology nor had the incentives to the invest in agriculture. So mainly there are the two main reason of the stagnation of the agriculture sector. It is land settlement system and as well as the commercialization of agriculture. But another two way is low level of productivity or scarcity of investment. So we can say the main four reasons of the stagnation of in agriculture sectors are: first, land settlement system; second, commercialization of agriculture; third, low level of productivity; and fourth, scarcity of investment. Thank you and have a nice day.